Happy Friday, guys. It's Friday. We've been through the whole week. Time for the weekend. I don't know if it's going to be different than the week, but we're going to try. Today we're going from the town. We're going to shimmy back up to the village again because my wife Jen went to the grocery store just now, and I thought, so I was thinking we need a grocer, but I was thinking maybe, this side's the right side. Oh, this side. That maybe we would need like a place to get groceries, but I don't feel like doing a grocery store, so I'm gonna do like a little, like maybe like a roadside grocery stand, you know, like you see in the countryside. So I'm gonna put that up in the fishing village, just like a nice roadside stand for somebody to stop and get some fresh produce, like you see in the summertime. But here you can get it all year round because it's always summer on the island. Blam. And I decided that first things first, I'm enjoying doing callbacks instead of just always coming up with new people every day, which I am going to do with this one too. I like to bring some people back, and I wanted to put Cheeseburger Surprise in here, and I'm going to make her having tripped. What kind of shoes should she have? I'll give her like, I don't know, some pumps. I don't know. I'll have to redraw that. I don't know. Something like that. So she's like tripping on her face because she tripped over. Let's make it smaller. I'm gonna make it like an apple cart. She overturned the apple cart. Isn't that a saying? When somebody overturns the apple cart? I don't know exactly what that means either. Usually when I talk about some of these things in this video, I realize all the things that I don't know. I can't remember what the other thing I was going to look up the answer to, and I'd forgotten. Has anybody seen that dude from the commercials for the Doll Dairy, like little local Duluth commercial for Doll delivered milk, where they say it's Doll-licious, and they have that guy that goes, "You've forgotten what real milk tastes like." That guy's awesome. Almost as good as those Doherty's commercials, except for that last one where they try to do Iron Range accents. That one I find deeply offensive. I don't really, though. It's perfectly fine. So I'm gonna make Cheeseburger Surprise face planting right there over this cart of apples, a stand of apples, and then I decided to make the owner on-looking here with sheer disdain. I'll put another cart of fruit here, and so for the owner, I did Harley and Harry Elefante, Mecha Harry Elefante, and decided to make the owner an actual person this time, sort of a caricature of an actual person whose name is Kendo Nagasaki, who is an actual Japanese professional wrestler that I just did in here basically for myself and my friend Derek, who we get a kick out of. And it's sort of from, I'm going to do the toy of the day, this callback. This is the DVD video of something called, it's called the Grocery Store Death Match. And this was a pro wrestling match from like 1995 that, like, back in the day, if you wanted to see some like wrestling from Japan in like the mid-90s, like you had to go through like tape traders and get like VHS tapes that were imported from Japan, and we got this one like in the middle of a tape where it was just this grocery store where these guys just brawl around through this grocery store, and it was mostly just this old man, like this 50-some-year-old man named Kendo Nagasaki, and he was like their trainer. And it was just him just crankily just like hitting them over the head with fruit. And it was hilarious. It wasn't even really that, you know, it was kind of violent, but it was more hilarious than violent because it was just so bizarre. And I just absolutely adored it. And so then it would like disappear for like decades after that. We saw that VHS tape. And then finally it showed up on like this sort of bootleg kind of cheesy DVD, and it had some of these images of them. And it was just, it's so hilarious. Plus they added sound effects, like every punch sounds like a cannon blast. It is probably the funniest thing and I just adore it. So Kendo Nagasaki, I put in like this weird mythic, like he's a mythic figure in my mind because I just love that match so much because it's so stupid. So this is more for myself than anything else. You're gonna have to bear with it. All right, I'm kind of trying to figure out how to sketch this in here. This is looking a little goofy to me. So I'll draw on this card a little bit so this doesn't go too long, and then we'll just ink it in. We'll be back. All right, I spent like more time just trying to sketch that out because I really wanted to get this to be like a fairly good Kendo Nagasaki likeness, even though not very many people know who he is, even for people that like and are entertained by wrestling. And I wanted to give him like this just somewhat crabby but and also not amused face. So kind of like took a little more time kind of sketching that in. So I made him look unpleased because he just doesn't, even in this DVD, he just doesn't, well, he looks quite happy right there to be hitting that guy with that broom handle. I don't know what's going on there. Here, he put some sort of fruit in that guy's mouth, and he's slamming that guy onto a watermelon. Here he's like hitting the guy with like a toaster. I don't know. Maybe this is just, I don't know. Are there any children watching this? I don't know. This guy, he's hitting this guy with a table. Oh, it's so wonderful. It's just so wonderful. You gotta just turn this off right now if you're watching on YouTube, and just type in grocery store deathmatch or Japan grocery store deathmatch. I think it's on there now. It was up and then it was down, and I think it's up again right now. So, which is why I had to find this bootleg DVD. So like I said, back in the day we used to get these tapes, and it would just be a whole smodge of just random stuff that people would dub onto a VHS tape, and it would always have really poor tracking and just kind of chop in and out and jarble. And a lot of times the Japanese ones would have still have the Japanese commercials on it, which was actually kind of awesome because it was fun to watch those commercials. But I didn't know who any of the people were. They never said anybody's name. I didn't know who he was for years. And it also turned out he wrestled for a long time in Calgary for like the Hart family, if anybody knows who Bret Hart is. And Bret Hart really says that this dude right here was like one of his biggest trainers and that he learned the most from. But I didn't know that because in Calgary he wrestled under the name Mr. Sakurada. So he had a different name, which often happens when they move around. So this dude right here, the guy that was hitting people in the head with watermelons, is a guy that Bret Hart gives credit to for training him, which I think is also extra hilarious and awesome. And now that I've been talking about it, it's been probably a year or so since I watched this DVD. Now I just want to put it in and check it out again, because I can watch it really anytime. Since I've got extra time around the house, I should spend it watching more of this guy hitting people in the head with watermelons. Like I said, it sounds so violent, and it kind of is, but it's also so hilarious. And my buddy Derek and I always kind of bring it up. Every once in a while I'll pull up a picture of him hitting somebody in the head with the watermelon, and I'll Photoshop it hitting somebody else in the head of the watermelon, or having them like Photoshop him like flying out of the ground or something, and just something that might fit into a little random joke of the moment. And I laugh. So I'm giving Cheeseburger Surprise, I don't know, some kind of foot. She needs feet. Because on that toy, she doesn't really have feet. It's just like some sort of weird, just like torso that rolls into the ground. Alright, so she has knocked over the apples. They're all rolling out. Here is Mr. Kendo Nagasaki, the vegetable and fruit stand owner, just standing here, arms crossed. He's not amused. He is not having it. And if Cheeseburger Surprise doesn't have the money to pay for the damage she's done, he's going to be calling up Captain Surprise to come pay up for the whatever's been wrecked. I'm going to put some more. These would be watermelons. I'll put the details on those when I hit the other side. And, alright, well, and there's going to be a big cart full of fruits and vegetables back here too. But just for the sake of not going too long, I'll just, you know, kind of draw the rest of this in, and then we'll go into turbo paint mode. Alright, see ya. And there it is in all its glory. It's Princess Cheeseburger Surprise taking a tumble over the apple cart, while Kendo Nagasaki looks arms folded, looking very cross. Not so pleased. I remembered another fact I forgot to mention about Kendo Nagasaki. Is I wrestled in Japan several times, and I wrestled a guy named Aso-san, who is a wrestling volcano. He wears a mask that points up like a volcano. Gosh, I wish I had a picture of him around here because it's awesome. And he actually puts dry ice in the top of the mask so that it steams when he walks to the ring. It looks like he's an erupting volcano. It is one of the coolest gimmicks ever. And Aso-san, I wrestled him a couple times. He was my tag team partner once. He was actually trained by Kendo Nagasaki. This was his sensei right here, Kendo Nagasaki. So, but on Ampersand Island, Kendo Nagasaki is just a grumpy grocer who just is looking very upset right now. I just noticed this little thing that was annoying me, so I'm gonna clean that up. Anyway, so here she is. Here is Cheeseburger Surprise. I also wrote the word corn back here, but it really looks like it's like the biggest O you could have ever seen. So I don't know why they decided to make this big wide O, but I drew it and then it looked weird, and then I decided to point it out in case you missed how weird it looks. And then there's also this sort of duck who looks like he's staring at us like, Cheeseburger Surprise, you scamp. So anyway, that's today's picture, and I'll see you guys for Friday. Bye.